Good evening, everyone. It's Dr. Jen Kordonsky from Optimal Spine Chiropractic, and this evening's class is exercise, Where Do I Start? Let's talk about the fact that your body has certain needs, certain requirements. You've heard me talk about before, there are 4 vital needs. Your body requires air, quite obviously, and without it, you would not survive. It requires water. You can only last a few days without water. Of course, your body requires food. You could last a little longer without food, but maybe just a couple of weeks, and without it, you are not going to make it. What we don't remember always is that our body's number one most vital need, where if we were to not have it, death would be instantaneous, is actually nerve supply. It's the electrical signaling between the brain and the body. So those are the 4 vital needs. They influence our health and impact our health tremendously because they are so vital to our body's function that we can't function without them. So the way we meet those needs, if we meet them poorly or kind of mediocre, it has a huge impact on our health. We will have poor or mediocre health if that's the way we are addressing our body's vital needs. One of the most overlooked requirements for function and optimal health of the body, not necessarily survival, but in some ways it almost does impact survival, but not as dramatically as the 4 vital needs. But one of the requirements for healthy function, healthy life, of healthy mind and body is what we're going to jokingly call vitamin M, and that's movement. So I know we titled the class exercise, but I want you to separate the 2 terms because exercise comes with a whole lot of mental pictures that we may have formed over the years, whether we like exercise or not, whether we feel like we should exercise or someone told us that we should do it this way. So I want to just talk about movement. Your body was designed to move. In actuality, it's not just designed so that it can move. It's designed in such a way that it requires movement. So without movement, your body would not be as healthy and functional as it could be. In fact, there could be major detriment to your body without movement. I'm going to just come up or call out a couple of examples to show you that the design of the body is actually dependent upon movement. Think about the fact that your heart pumps your blood out, right? The huge muscle of the heart does a lot of work to get the blood out to the body. The walls of the arteries have muscles in them and they continue to pump the blood to all of your body parts, but the veins that return the blood back to the heart, return the blood so that it can get to the lungs to get oxygenated, those veins do not have muscles in them like the arteries. They cannot move the blood themselves, especially when we're going against gravity, getting blood to come up your legs. You have to facilitate the return of blood to the heart by the actual movement of the muscles, pumping that blood, squeezing it. Same is true with the lymphatics, the flow of fluid around and between your cells that's absolutely crucial for your well-being, needs to be squeezed by the muscles in order to get that fluid moving and keep your body clean and functioning. That's just 2 things. Think about the movement of your digestive system. Have you ever bicycled a baby's legs that had a tummy ache or had constipation or gas? It's the movement of your body that helps facilitate the movement of food through your digestive tract in a healthy way. The fluid that bathes your brain and spinal cord absolutely needs the movement of your spine in order to refresh and renew the fluid that bathes the brain and spinal cord. if we are not moving, we're sitting sedentary for very long, that fluid is not getting exchanged, and therefore your brain and spinal cord are sitting in a stagnant pond, which we do not want. Our brain will not optimally function. Therefore, our mental clarity, the health of our brain as we age will not be the way we want it to be. And then think about the nourishment of the spinal discs, the disc that sits in between each of your vertebrae. I want you to think of it like a sponge. For it to stay hydrated, it needs to be squeezed and released, and then it can absorb water and nutrition from the surrounding fluid. The same is true of every joint in your body. You have cartilage and a joint capsule that holds fluid. And if we don't move that joint through a full range of motion, then the joint is not getting bathed in that fluid, it's not getting nourished, the cartilage is going to start to break down prematurely. So those are just 3 or 4, maybe 5 examples of how the function of your body is actually dependent upon movement, that vitamin M. Unfortunately, the default process, the default thought pattern that we've all kind of had drilled into our heads by everything we've ever heard from our parents and friends and family and TV commercials, is that exercise is about how your body looks, whether it's about burning fat or building muscle. And honest to God, this is the least important factor to consider when we're talking about moving our bodies for health, for function, for well-being mentally and emotionally, and of course physically. I can't de-emphasize that enough, that exercise for the way your body looks needs to be moved way down the totem pole. That makes exercise, number one, not fun. It can transform it into a punishment for maybe not eating properly, or just punishing your body for not being the way you want it to be or the way you think it should be. And then think about when we exercise for how our body looks. We might have a certain goal in mind of what we think it should be. Pardon me a second. And if we achieve that goal, we will then lose our motivation to continue the exercise, potentially. And if we don't achieve that goal, then we lose our motivation to continue the exercise. And you need movement. You're designed for movement. The exercise or movement benefits are massive. I love the expression that if the benefits of exercise, the benefits of movement could be put into a pill or into a prescription, everyone would be banging down the doors to get this medication, right? This pill, because wouldn't that be easy to get all the benefits? Just swallow the pill. But when you balance movement and rest, and that's important because some people exercise too much, right? Some people are moving or doing the same movement over and over and not balancing movement and rest. So that's important to consider. And we teach a whole class about sleep, but balancing movement and rest I want you to consider. But when they are in balance, in a healthy way, giving to your body what it needs, think about the benefits. Obviously, cardiovascular health, right? Stamina and conditioning, the ability to perform your activities of daily living for your entire lifetime with ease. I want to be able to climb a flight of stairs, carry my groceries, go on a hike, pick up my grandchildren. I want to be able to do everything without restriction. And it's entirely possible as long as we believe it to be so and give our body enough vitamin M. When you have movement in your life, you're going to slow down the aging process in a myriad of ways. Healthier muscles, healthier joints, healthier heart. You're clearing toxins from the body. So aging is minimized. The skin is getting blood flow, so your skin looks better and less wrinkled and all of that. Your immune function improves. healing times are increased. You know, one of the studies that I've talked about before, I thought was really cool, where they made an incision on people's arms, and they had, you know, someone who does not rest, or excuse me, someone have complete rest, light activity, and then heavy exercise. Well, the people who exercised moderately had the fastest healing time in the study with a wound on their arm. So, you know, that translates to everything. Your immune system works better when you move regularly. Your mood is better in general. You handle stress better. You have an outlet for some of that stress that we accumulate during the day. Less depression, less anxiety, mental clarity. You know, we talked about the cerebrospinal fluid. Do you want a sharp mind? Do you want a sharp memory? Then moving your body is going to facilitate that. Sometimes we tend to think of our body and our brain separate, but they are so intimately intertwined. The body does not work without the brain, and the brain does not work without the body. They are connected, and we have to care for them both to have optimal function. You know, we tend to think of ourselves as just brains, especially now that we have computers to do everything for us. But the body's function will facilitate the brain's function. Our joints will be healthier, and the more muscle that one maintains, the better your longevity and your survivability of almost any condition whatsoever. So, you know, having a healthy BMI, having a good amount of muscle on your body, and remember, muscle, like everything else in our body, is use it or lose it. Joint health, use it or lose it. Flexibility, use it or lose it. So vitamin M, we need that movement. But what are the obstacles? Well, first and foremost is that mental picture of what we think exercise is or should be, or what it's about. So I want you to start just shifting the thought process that movement is something that you can give to your body like a vitamin. So think vitamin M. I can give this to my body to nourish it. I can give it to my mental, emotional health to nourish myself. Think about all of those other benefits way before we even think about whether or not this is going to change the way I look. Okay, so it's the thought process. That's one of the obstacles that keeps us from really having a healthy relationship with movement. Then the biggest obstacle that most people would report is not having the time to exercise. And again, that is really about the way we think of things. We think that we need to do a certain number of minutes or hours of exercise, that a workout needs to be a certain thing, that, you know, maybe we go to the gym, we put on our gym clothes, and I want you to realize that adding movement in any increment, in any way, shape, or form, is going to add benefit to your health, to your life. So any movement is better than no movement. And if we start by just looking at how can I add a little movement to my day, it doesn't have to be a formal workout. We don't have to put on any special gear or go to any special place to look for ways to add movement. The hardest thing is to create the habit, to create the desire, to create the, just I am a person who exercises. If that's not already who you are, I am a person who moves intentionally through the day to nourish my body. So we want to look for a way to create the habit. To me, one of the best ways is to make it a regular thing, a daily thing, that, you know, you would notice if you skipped a day brushing your teeth, right? You probably wouldn't want to skip too many days. It would be wonderful if we can get that way about moving and to be like, oh man, I sat all day today. That just doesn't feel right. Just like that feeling of I haven't brushed, my teeth don't feel clean. My mouth doesn't feel clean. So you want to try to become a person who likes to move, who enjoys movement, and would feel lacking if they had a day without movement. So the best way I think to do that is to start with a challenge to yourself that you're going to intentionally move every single day. And that could be literally 30 seconds of movement to a minute or two. I think you should start with the stretches that we've prescribed to you. Pick one or all of them and say, every morning I'm going to, take at least 30 seconds to do one stretch, and then check the box. I have intentionally moved my body today. And if you do that every single day, there's no one who can't give 30 seconds. It could be at your desk. One of those stretches can be done anywhere. And then once that's the habit, the routine, now you can build on that. There may be days when you can do an hour-long workout. There may be days when you do a 2-minute, 5-minute, 10-minute, but there's intentionality behind it. There's consistency to it. Look for ways that you can just say, you know what? I have a few extra minutes. I'm going to take a lap around the block. What are things that you enjoy, activities you enjoy already? And tell yourself, I'm going to go work in the yard. That's something that brings me joy anyway. I'm intentionally moving and using my body. It's about kind of like making a mental shift to say, I'm a person who moves regularly. I'm a person who's nourishing my body in this way. There's a million ways to just start adding a little extra movement. Taking the stairs, the typical recommendations. What's it going to be for you is the question. Then another thing that holds people back, and the title of this class, where do I start? We might have it in our head that we need to exercise. And so what do I need to do? And we think I need to join a gym. I need to buy this exercise program because I don't know where to start. And then there's a tendency to feel frustrated by that. Jumping into big, a hour-long workout or a routine that you've never done before, or feeling like you need to take all of this time to prepare and get the stuff that you need, that can hold us back. So try things. Try them in small increments. The internet is an amazingly useful tool that we can use not to just sit and stare at a screen, but we can use it to connect with different ways to move our body. YouTube is a phenomenal resource for everything, every type of exercise. You can look up yoga routines, body weight exercises. There's a great website that I'll refer you to called HasFit, HASFit.com. And they have everything from seated chair exercises, if you can't get out of the chair, to, high intensity interval training, body weight routines. And if you are really good at those, then you can add weight to it. I love their website. And you can set the increment of time that you would like to, do a workout. I use an app called Down Dog. So they have yoga routines. Down Dog is a yoga position, but they also have body weight exercises. And I customize, I have 5 minutes today or I have 25 minutes today. And what body parts, or, just mix it up. I like a workout that changes every single time. That's fun for me. I enjoy, that sort of thing, challenging my muscles. But start with trying little increments of things. If you've never done yoga before, don't, buy $100 yoga class package. Just try a little YouTube video and do little bits and pieces and experiment with it. And ask yourself and your body, is this fun for me? Does this feel good? We do want to get to a point where we're challenging ourselves, right? A great cardiovascular workout will mean that your heart is pumping and you're breathing hard, but it should still feel good and not feel like pain and punishment, right? A great strength workout will feel hard, that you're, doing something that's difficult, but it feels good. So ask your body what's fun, try little bits and pieces of things. The key really in where you start is small. Start small. If you are not already in a groove of intentional movement on a regular basis, then just start small with the habit and build on it from there. That's the key to success, because when we try to make big radical changes or overcommit ourselves, then the tendency is to get exhausted, frustrated, whatever it is, and we quit. The key to real lasting change is small, consistent, over time. And that's how real life changes are made. We see it in chiropractic every day. People who stay the course with one adjustment after the next, after the next, after the next. When we look back, it's unbelievable the changes, but they're small, they're incremental, and it may not feel like a big deal each time. But the expression, like, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. So that's the key to exercise. Where do I start? Is start small. Start with shifting your focus, thinking about exercise in a different way. All the myriad of benefits, knowing that it's an absolute requirement of your body to move. And I want you to have a fabulous, healthy, vital life. Vitamin M is one of the most essential keys beyond the 4 vital needs that, are absolute requirements, with no getting out of it. So check out that website, hasfit.com. Ask for help. We are here to guide you. If we need to set up time to chat on the phone, if we can't do it while we're in the office, we'll absolutely do that for you. But your body wants to move, so get it out there and get it moving. Thank you so much for being here and being part of taking care of yourself differently. So have a great night, and we'll see you soon.